All right. So thank you very much. Good morning, dear colleagues. Good morning, distinguished members of the media, a very important constituency to us. Thank you for making yourself available to correspond and discuss on this very particular important issue. As we mentioned, I work with the European Center for Electoral Support, ECES, which is a not-for-profit foundation with headquarters in Brussels, delivering electoral assistance to many countries, including Nigeria and other African countries, mainly with funds from the European Union and other EU member states. Within the EU-SDGN, we are responsible for Component 1, which is support to the Independent National Electoral Commission, as was mentioned by Laolu a bit earlier. And it is with great delight that we engage with you on this very important issue, which sits at the very core of every successful electoral process. That is the issue of the legal framework. We are all knowledgeable, of course, on the history of elections in Nigeria and electoral reform and Nigeria's electoral reform agenda. And we know where it stands at the moment, particularly, of course, given the last effort in the 8th Assembly, where, of course, towards the eve of elections, it was unsuccessful to be assented to by the president. Of course, there is just so much any electoral stakeholder can do where there exist loopholes in the legal regime. And of course, we know that a lot has been done, yet there is still much more that needs to be done. And all hands must be on deck to ensure that the Nigeria's legal regime is truly comprehensive, transparent, and inclusive. This will definitely go a long way in ensuring that the elections in Nigeria, of course, are successful, inclusive, free, and fair. And by extension, will engineer good governance. So there's no doubt, of course, that your constituency, the media constituency, is very integral to this process and would play an important role to us achieving this. Earlier in March, ECES within the EU-SDGN supported INEC to convene a very important bilateral retreat with both committees in the National Assembly, that's the Senate Committee on INEC and the House Committee on Electoral Matters, to have discussions around, reforming the electoral legal framework. A lot of exchanges, happened within the few days, reviewing several important sections of this electoral act, and this was quite a novel idea. We know there are regular exchanges between the Commission and the National Assembly, but at this particular retreat, the INEC and National Assembly members were there for a number of days, having these very robust, exchanges, and particular recommendations have been put together to ensure that certain gaps that exist are properly, addressed. This process is ongoing, and of course, ECES is really committed within the particular framework that we are operating in Nigeria towards ensuring that Nigeria gets the election it deserves through a legal framework that is genuinely inclusive. Yes, we know that you are plagued, the media constituency is plagued with a barrage of issues, but at the same time, you have shown tremendous resilience and commitment towards the growth, development, and sustenance of the democratic tenets in Nigeria. In this regard, of course, we expect and more commitment to high ethical standards and professionalism in your reportage of electoral and political proceedings, as this will go a long way towards furthering the cause of democracy in Nigeria, of course, beginning with the very critical issue of electoral reforms that we'll be engaging on today. Of course, while you do that, we also encourage that, of course, you pay attention to the rising speed of fake news and disinformation, which seems to threaten democracies across the world. And of course, in Nigeria, we know how this situation is. ECES stands ready to continue to engage with you, the media constituency, in our support to INEC within the EU-SDGN. And of course, to just say a very big thank you once again for your time and availability to engage in this discussion, while also extending our sincerest appreciation to the European Union for its consistent funding towards our activities in Nigeria. So thank you, colleagues, and I trust that we'll have fantastic deliberations, and the outcome of this activity will be achieved and at the end, of course, would have contributed effectively towards entrenching democracy in Nigeria. So thank you very much, colleagues. You have a fantastic and fruitful deliberations.